burned out there. I just remember that I woke up at like 7 o'clock yesterday morning, so it was a relatively long day. I guess that worked out to what, a 20-hour day, but I had a few beers in there too, so relatively long. I got some sleep. That's good. It's about 10:30. I need to get to the store and get a few things. But today's just going to be a little bit of editing. I need to prepare for tomorrow. Another part of the reason I stayed in or I came home early was because I knew that I would be doing an all-nighter tomorrow night, and I didn't really want to do two in a row kind of thing. I mean, I'd be sleeping right now. If I had stayed the whole night, I would have got home around like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and I would have slept the whole day kind of thing, and um, I didn't want to do that. Top of that, it's raining. I would have had to walk home in the rain too. So it's a significant level of rain. So I think I made the right choice. I'm not blaming anyone or anything. I made the right choice on that. Right? It's just again, I'll say it again. If I thought it would be worth it, I would have stayed it. But when I put everything together, proving that I can get home, proving I can go to that bar and get out before midnight and make it home if I want to, that's key, right? Testing the neighborhood and the fact that I have to, that I'm going to Ann Arbor. There's no chance that I'll make it home, right? So when I go there, like I'm going for the night and it sort of thing, right? So, preparing for that and the fact like I got knocked out when I came home. So I mean, maybe had I stayed up a little bit longer, I would have maybe but I was unable to really move by the time I got home. I needed some sleep, so I got that too. So it all worked out, right? So sorry to Rangda, but it's just I was thinking about this when I was walking home. If you're gonna like sort of exist solely on samples like that, right? Like they didn't release the record through Bandcamp or anything, right? They just put a couple of samples of streaming audio up, right? So the sum total of what I had to go on was about 2.5 minutes worth of. It might be a little more than that. Let's say it was 5 minutes of audio and name recognition. For me, the name recognition was actually not so impressive. I know for other people it would be, right? There's a lot of people that are there specifically because of one of the two guitarists, or maybe even the drummer, right? I'm not really a fan of the solo work of any of these acts, right? I saw the drummer a few months ago at Trinosoft's, you know, but it was just a general interest show. Like I'm not a big fan of his or anything, right? And I have seen him actually a few other times before in other products. I saw him with the guitarist from Harry Pussy. I can't remember his name now. Bill Orcutt. In Ottawa a few years ago too, right? So I've seen him in several different contexts. He's enjoyable to watch and everything. It's just, when I was walking in on, like the samples were just not that exciting. Maybe for some people, like I say, they would have heard those two and just went, wow, that's really, I'm really intrigued by this. I got to see this, right? But that's it's a danger that you pose whenever you reduce your marketing to, I'm going to tell you what part of the record to listen to, because you're honing in on a specific audience. It could be that 2 minutes, like it could be that the rest of the record sounds nothing like that 2 minutes, right? I wouldn't know that. The flip side of that is that if I got drawn in because I like those 2 minutes and the rest of the record doesn't sound anything like it, then so it really is a necessity nowadays to have everything upstreaming. And if you're not going to do that, what that is it's an admittance that your material isn't strong enough. Because I mean that's it, if you're afraid that people are gonna stream your record a few times and then never listen to it again, then you're admitting that it's not worth buying, right? um, you should definitely have confidence in your work to say, okay, I can put this up as a, so I can stream this, and it's good enough that people will buy it, right? Um, it might not work out. I know that, you know, it hasn't worked out so well for me. But at the same time, like it's, if I don't get that confidence, I'm not going to stick around, and I'm not going to miss the bus and stay late. Try, you know. Um, Other people aren't going to go to the bar at all, kind of thing, right? So, but like I say, for all I know, I could have. I'm pretty confident I didn't miss a really good show, but there's that possibility that I might have, um, and that's ultimately, I mean, it is my loss, but it's more your loss than it is my loss, right? Or more the band's loss than it is my loss. So, because I've been to lots of good shows, and I'll be to lots of good shows again, right? So it's just having enough information out there to make a choice, right? I'm not an advocate of markets, but we are talking about putting a commodity on a market and selling it. And what's the way that's supposed to work is you're supposed to have perfect information about the product, right? And if you don't have enough information about the product, then you can't make a rational choice, and it doesn't work, right? And that's really what I'm drawing attention to here, is that I need enough information to make that choice. I know that in the past you couldn't even do that, but people would go. I think that people probably went to a lot less shows in the past because of that, right? They didn't. It was just like a name, there wasn't anything to put to it. And am I just gonna go to a show? Maybe people might try to direct their friends, kind of thing, but I mean I wouldn't go to a show based on that, right? So, but regardless, it's not the past, it's the present, and it's always the future, um, relative to what I said. So, um, it it, 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 it is just a necessity, right? Um, Maybe it might have worked the other way. Maybe I would have heard the whole record and said, "Geez, I'm glad I left," right? But I would have needed more information to make that choice. But like I said, with everything else, I probably wouldn't have made it anyways. I'm rambling. To say that obviously I would have liked, ideally, you know. I mean, the problem here is the bus ultimately, right? Um, if I could just stay, watch the show, and then walk home, I would, right? Even if it did suck, I would stay. I would I'd stay later, have an extra beer, right? But it's just the problem of being stuck overnight is substantial, um, and it had better be worth it for me to go through that process. You know, I'm still a little. I might end up going to bed relatively, or it might pass with some coffee. It's one of those things, right? So I'm gonna go to the store, and then there's not gonna be a lot. I guess it's gonna be like editing, catch up, and heading to the show, and I'll start something new when I get back. I guess I'll wake up on Sunday sometime because I'll get back Saturday morning, and then that's when I'll have to start moving forward with a little bit more of a brisk pace. So the last time I got salami the other day, I only got half my order. So I figured if I was going out today, I'd get the salami, and in fact, that salami should probably last me the rest of the month. Considering that it's the 10th today, and I'll open it sometime around the 15th. Which means that I got some more cake. This is some kind of strawberry affair, as far as I can tell. Let's sit down and give this a little bit of a taste. Probably should have thought this through a little bit better. I never did, do I? Actually quite similar to the last one, except it's like red instead of green. So it's like more strawberry and less lime. Um, it's still good. And I think I'm still going to enjoy it. I had another Snickers bar last night. Um, so my sweet tooth appears to have asserted itself in a way that it hasn't been quite a long time. Anyways, I'm going to enjoy that. Um, it's you can tell they made it, but it's kind of like that kind of halfway kind of middle point between being like um, store-bought cake and homemade cake, right? So it's not like the stale kind of cake that you'd buy after it's been sitting forever, but it's not like a fresh brand new cake either. So it's kind of if it was like straight fresh, it probably would be a little bit better. But I'm not complaining. It'll be yummy, I'm sure. The point of this, of course, is to try to pick out a few things that I like, and then once I pick out a few things I like, I'll buy those more repeatedly. It does not appear that either of those two options are going to be the ones that I'm going to be buying a lot of. And I think that's part of the reason why I picked those ones first. But we'll see as time goes on. So I'm watching the Univision debate as I'm eating lunch. I like the fact that Bernie brought up Libya in the right context. I hope that catches on a little. With all the talk about Benghazi and the emails, it's obscuring how poor of a judgment call it was, and how it was a crisis point in the new revival of the Anglo-Russian conflict. The media is drawing attention to what is really just empty politics, but there's a really serious issue lurking underneath, and it's great to see it coming back. But I want to take note of this debate on immigration, as it's obviously of importance in the Spanish-speaking and broadly indigenous vote. The question was phrased something like, are you actually concerned about working conditions, or are you really just concerned that they steal jobs from white people? It has to be the worst debate question I've ever heard. It's meant to imply that Sanders is some kind of racist. And from a passive debate perspective, such an approach is likely to have a bigger effect on a white progressive from Oregon than a potential voter in Arizona, for the reason that people on the ground know how ridiculous the question is. Do you really oppose war because it's violent, or are you just concerned that it kills people? The concerns are interchangeable, right? The point is that the undocumented workers are not protected by labor laws, so firms can save money by hiring them. If you enforce the labor laws, you'd create jobs for Americans. So it's a false dichotomy. Like, it's not one or the other; it's both, and you can't separate the two things. They are the same thing, right? So they might hit them on this. You say one thing to white people and another to indigenous people, sure. But they're consistent, right? It's the same argument from differing experiential perspectives. But this is what the media does. It tries to divide people over nonsense. And by skewing the presentation ever so slightly, they can make it seem like Bernie is on the side of the Tea Party. As ridiculous as that is, creating an exaggerated choice between good and evil. If you're informed, you won't fall for this. If you're not, because you're too far away, maybe, you might. He's got to get this across. He'll never do it in a debate, though. It's too complicated. This topic also allowed Hillary to enrage me once again. They talked about the 2007 bill, which Sanders voted against because it created systems with poor working conditions, thereby taking away jobs from Americans who would be protected by the labor laws that they were circumventing in order to create the guest worker programs, right? Hillary voted for it, and she's throwing this line around. I couldn't imagine the United Farm Workers supporting a bill that created slave-like working conditions. I just about snapped, okay, because she knows exactly what she's doing. It looks, great from a distance, doesn't it? The United Farm Workers supported it. If you know anything about the United Farm Workers, okay, she knows exactly what she's doing. And if you're informed on this topic, that should make you extremely angry. It's the worst level of slime, the lowest kind of sleaze, okay? Drop the benefit of the doubt on her. That line made it absolutely clear to me that she knows exactly what she's doing. I can't get into this here. It's too complicated. The United Farm Workers are not an organization that you want to consult if you're concerned about the views of farm workers. As unfortunate as that is, go forth and seek out this information. That's all I can say about that. See, he also touched on the good neighbor policy, criticizing the Monroe Doctrine. See, that's a huge heart tugger for me. I actually sampled the good neighbor speech in one of my songs. It's one of those progress type things that Hegelians love so much. He's not perfect, don't get me wrong here, but he's pushing a lot of unexpected buttons. That's one of those things that if you push that button, you're going to get a rise out of me, and a good rise too. And I'd have never thought I'd be sitting here and watching a serious candidate for the presidency criticize the Monroe Doctrine. Obviously, it did happen once before, but that was before we ended history. I'm starting to get that feeling about this guy, right? And I did actually get the track up. I put it up. But in the end, Bernie might not pass much himself. Who might his VP be? It can't be her. Not Clinton. You know, that person has to carry things forward. He'll be 75 in November. Okay, 79 in 4 years. Life expectancy is 78. If we can get 2 terms out of him, we'll be lucky. Realistically, it's nobody should if he manages to win, nobody should expect him to run a second term. Okay, but if he can bring back history, he'll have done something. I've keyed in on this narrative before, and I'll key in on it again. You know, we're living through the years where we're bringing history back. That's what's happening right now. We're reestablishing the concept of history. So I'm back to editing. I got the vlog for the 26th edited, and it's rendering. I'm gonna have to watch it before I conclude it's done, but I think it is. I just wanted to take note that I added a few things in that I hadn't added before. You know, outside audio. There's a string of pictures that I took, and there was also a little bit of I've been taking pictures of myself walking around in the dark, and not increasing the exposure on it, so it's really dark and you can't see anything. I guess there's well, actually I don't think there's too many of those videos in the past. I know that there was the Disappear show. There was lots of spots that you couldn't see a damn thing, and I kind of really wasn't concerning myself with it, right? But I mean, it really is just as easy as increasing the exposure in the editing. I knew when I bought this thing that it was not point and click. That's what they said, or that's what the reviews said. It's taking me a little bit of time to figure out exactly what that means and exactly how to, you know, get things better. I don't have any experience with this. I have lots of experience doing you know, audio editing, but nothing with video editing. You know, and you know, the combination of software and everything that I'm using has made it a little bit more egregious than it needs to be, sort of thing. It's a resource issue. So, you know, it's the reality of it, right? So, I just wanted to take note of that, though, that I am going to be making a little bit more of an effort to make the vlogs a little bit more, I don't want to say professional looking, because they're not going to look professional, and I don't really want them to. It's part of my charm, is that I don't want to use contrived words like genuine, but I mean it is real, and I want it to be real, right? So, but I mean I can make it a little bit less choppy, while keeping it rough around the edges. So that's all I really wanted to point out here. I've got a bunch of things I need to throw in the garbage, so I'll take note of that, and then I'm going to spend probably a few hours, figuring out what I'm doing tomorrow. I have a rough idea of what I need to do to get to Ann Arbor, but I need to make sure everything makes sense in terms of timetables and everything. This is such a long ride. I may end up like if the show's over around midnight, I might, you know, like get a beer somewhere, and like if I can catch a bus at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll probably catch the first bus out in the morning, which might be at 4 a.m. kind of thing. So I might only be waiting for an hour, which was kind of like the Skinny Puppy show, or at least what I intended it to be. The truth is, the puppy show was done early, and I probably could have made it home. Um, it's just I had no intention to make it home. Um, Even if the show is done at 11, there's no way I'm getting home. So it's like I'm gonna leave tomorrow probably around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. No joke. And I don't intend to be back until like noon, right? So you know, it's gonna be a long show tomorrow. Um, it's fine. I just need to chart it all out, plan it all out. If it's more reasonable than that, then great. But yeah, that's the rest of the night, and then I need to sleep and get a few hours so that when I wake up, I am fresh because it is going to be a long day tomorrow. So I don't think I will get anything done today, but I'll see if I can try. So that is a wrapper from the bar last night. This is cheese wrappers from lunch a few hours ago. This is a wrapper from pens. It's a necessity, right? I needed to get pens. Everybody needs pens sometimes. Everybody needs pens sometimes. So scribble on. My Michael Stipe is more of a David Bowie, isn't it? These are Snickers bars from last night, and I need to not do that anymore. On second thought, it seems like that's not happening. I just checked the bus. I had checked previously, and I saw a bus route and a schedule to go from Detroit to Ann Arbor and back. I didn't check the times or the fare. It turns out it's a $15 bus ride. I could see myself paying, maybe $5 to get there, and maybe $5 to get. I mean, that would be an expensive bus ride, but to need to pay it's gonna cost me $30 in transportation, which means I'm looking at like a night that's gonna be it's gonna be well $30 for transportation. I think is $20 to get in, so that's 50, and then with the rest of it, looking maybe around $70, and then with the conversion, it's like $100. I've seen Tortoise a few times. I'm actually a substantially sized Tortoise fan. Actually, I haven't seen them a few times. I saw them once. I am thinking about it though still. Can I blow $100 on Tortoise tomorrow? I figured maybe I might have to pay a couple of dollars. I might have to pay a couple of different systems, so it might be, But see, the only reason I can think why you would make a $15 buy, it's not even that far, right? The other approach is to take a train, and I don't really want to take a train. It's not any faster either. It's still a 2-hour ride. I don't. I can't think of any reason why there wouldn't be a bus system there. It's an integrated. Well, actually, I can't think of a reason. Is if you don't want people from Detroit to come to Ann Arbor because you're a dirty racist. Such is the reality of this area. Good job, guys. You're preventing a nice white person from entering your city because you're too short-sighted to see through your bullshit. I'd like to come to your city and spend money, but you made it really hard to get there because you don't like black people. You assholes. See, I'm trying to find a way around this that might make sense, and it's amazing. It seems to be that this here is about as far as the Detroit buses go. So I'm in Westland, Michigan, or a little south of there. It's Michigan Road. That's Dearborn. That's what the D there stands for. So this is Detroit's that way, right? And I can get to here. And then it seems like the buses in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti are interconnected here, like this. And I can get as far as there. There is about a 5 mile distance. Yeah, there we go. It's about a 5 mile distance there. Can even, yeah. Okay. 5 miles there, and there is no bus route. The area, and I'm not pulling this out of my ass, okay? When I say this, I've done a little bit of research on it, and I know that this is the case. That area is split up on purpose. I'm gonna take a walk up Google Maps to see, because you know what? I don't mind walking a little. I just don't want to walk through a forest and get attacked by a cougar. If that's relatively downtownish, I don't mind walking through it. But why is there no bus service in a 5 mile radius? Like it's 5 miles, and it's right in the middle of a city. There's no bus service because they don't want people here to interact with people over here. Okay, it's split up on purpose. This is where white people live, and this is where black people live, and it's amazing. I mean, as a Canadian, I can't even fathom this, but this is the truth of it. And I really don't see a way to fix it other than to call attention to it. That being said, I know that this is something that it would be an understatement for me to say that the Detroit transportation issue has been long-standing. It's something that's been going on for a very long time, and should have some relatively easy answers. The other option is that I can take a bus to the airport here, and then it's $15 to get from here to here, right? So I can either get off here and, I don't know, maybe hitchhike for a few miles, or I can take a $15 bus from here to here, which I don't want to do. So I do believe it would be $2 to get to here, and then it would be $2 for the rest of the system, kind of thing. So, but there's got to be a better way, right? To find to bridge that gap, because like I said, I don't have, after the exchange rate, you're looking at what, 40. I don't have $40 to spend on the bus. So, and well, let me rephrase that. If I absolutely had to, I could. I don't want to. I would rather walk or hitchhike. So we'll see. Well, like I say, first thing I'm going to do is check the maps there. If I can figure this out, I'm going to go, because I want to go, and I actually kind of want to take the adventure kind of route, right? It's just, I mean, it's not worth that much. The truth is that even if I did have that money to throw away, I would rather walk, just because it's so stupid, right? So let me see this here. 5 miles is what, 10 kilometers? I can do that. I might be a little bit tired when I get there. But like I said, I don't want to walk through a forest, so we'll see what it looks like. So it turns out it is about 5 miles worth of forest in there, where farmland or just undeveloped area, kind of a buffer zone from here to here. And when I zoom in a little bit, it makes it a little bit. That's not going to be any fun to walk. If I end up doing this, I'm going to have to hitch it, and I'm not really that excited about it. But what the bus does, get this. The bus will come through here, like that, down to here, until it gets to here. And then it will actually turn around. So it's saying that this is as far as you're going. you pass this line and you've broken the segregation line. This is like for real. That's what that is right there. That's a segregation line. And the bus will take you to here and then turn around. If you can believe that. Remarkable. Okay, so I found that there is one way to get back and forth here. What's this? Yeah, no, I want it like that. Yeah. Okay, so there is one route that they allow. I can take a bus from Canton here, up around here, down into the Michigan, into the university. They run that once a day, and it's $5 plus transfer, Monday to Friday. So you can take it home, and you can take it in, and you'd better be off work early. That's important to point out because it's proof of concept, right? That indicates that they could run a bus. The fact that there is a bus running, even if it's only once a day, it does run, right? So it's possible. The fact that there are no buses moving from here to here or from here to here is not due to some kind of a boundary or jurisdictional issue, because there is a bus running. It just runs very infrequently, and it makes it very hard for people to get back and forth. Tomorrow is a Friday, meaning that this would provide me with a way in, so long as I'm able to meet the schedules, but it wouldn't provide me with a way out, because it doesn't run on Saturdays. So I'm going to keep that in mind and keep looking. The other option, unfortunately, would be to find my way out here somewhere and try to hitchhike back in. As soon as I get, as soon as I can find a way to, golf that 5 miles or whatever it is, it might be a little bit. So the distance from here to here might be a little bit smaller. And that's something to look into as well. It might mean walking through suburbia, but it might be a little bit more navigable. The point being just that, once I get over that, once I get from White Town to Black Town, I can start catching the buses from here. The schedules might not be great, but they do run. It's just it's a question of getting over that hump, right? Again, this wasn't designed so nice white kids from Canada would have to walk through the woods to get home. It was designed so that scary black people couldn't come up to the suburbs. Maybe they should think that through. I'll say that again. I'm taking a look around, at the broader transportation situation. It turns out there really isn't any plans to integrate Ann Arbor with Detroit either. But I'm taking a look around, and it turns out they're planning on building a rail link between Ann Arbor and Howell. And so I said, Howell, what is this? Never heard of this place. Looked a little bit, and I don't think the following is a coincidence. For many decades, Howell has had the reputation of being associated with the Ku Klux Klan due to white supremacist leader and Michigan Grand Dragon Robert E. Miles, who held KKK gatherings on his farm, located 12 miles north of the city with a Howell address. Miles died in 1992. However, these gatherings, including the burning of crosses, continued. The reputation has persisted into the 2000s, with events such as a public auction of KKK items scheduled for Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday in 2005. the suspension of a teacher who removed students for wearing a Confederate flag and making anti-gay slurs in 2010, and the high school basketball team's racist tweets towards a racially mixed team in 2014. The Livingston Diversity Council, which was founded in response to a 1988 cross burning on the lawn of a black family, promotes diversity and inclusion in the county. So it seems to be that the people that are on the Ann Arbor City Council, or whatever other body it is that oversees the transportation, and I do understand that it is kind of complicated, but it seems like they're more interested in integrating the public transit networks of the communities outside of Detroit than they are in creating any kind of a link between the city and the outsiding areas. Again, it's really difficult for tourists. It's difficult for people on the outside of the city coming from the other way to try to get in. But I really don't think those kinds of arguments are going to be particularly persuasive with a system that seems to be quite consciously racist. More to the point, one may want to look at the system and recognize that it is racist. That might be the better way to try to get something fixed there. My understanding was that there was actually a federal program, but Reagan yanked it. And Reagan, of course, was a notorious racist himself. So it's not. I mean, my understanding is this is well understood that Reagan took the side of the segregationists in the countryside, said we're not going to have this integrated system, and we're going to allow this structural inability to transit through the area to continue to exist. It's very clear that the Detroit public system is not particularly good, but within Detroit city limits, I've never had really a problem getting from A to B. And from what I can see, it seems like the system in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti seem to be relatively good. And in fact, it doesn't seem to be so bad moving over to the other side either. I was able to get north up to Pontiac. I do believe that the systems moving to the other side of the city are relatively good. It is really very curious that it's so difficult to get from Detroit to Ann Arbor. There's really no good reason for that I can see. Besides, like I say, a purposely designed system to prevent scary black people from entering the suburbs. That's what we're dealing with here, seriously. It turns out my back door doesn't work anyways. I was thinking just by looking at this looks like it's, metropolitan area all the way through. It would make sense that there would be buses that come up here, right? But it's the same thing. It seems to be that this highway here, this 275, that seems to be the real segregation line there. That's as far as the buses in the SMART system go. That's my back door there. That's where that would end there. So I still have a 5-mile distance there that I don't know, take a cab or you're gonna walk or what, but it's I mean, you can see why they don't run it on the weekends. I mean, I wonder why they even run it at all to go to Canton there like that. I mean, it's apparently they run carpools. It's just like a carpool is great if you go to the same place all the time. If you're trying to get from A to B, because you want to, it doesn't provide the same level of freedom that a bus system does. It's remarkable, really. But I mean, that's the same basic space, right? So it's about 4 miles there, and it's about 5 miles there. But it's just like this gap is without bus service. Again, the bus, I mean, it might not be great, but there is bus coverage all the way up through here. And likewise, it might not be great, but there is at least bus coverage all the way up through here. So, you might have to wait a while, but, like, there's a bus coming, right? And it's integrated, right? So, buses all the way around here, and you can go just about anywhere you want, right? And, buses all the way around here, you can go wherever you want. But you cannot get between here and there. It's that space. There's nothing in between here. So you can't get from here to here. Anywhere you want in here, anywhere you want over in here. Right? Anywhere you want in here. Right? And there's like 30 buses that run. Like it actually looks to me like it's pretty good bus service in Ann Arbor. In Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti together. But you can't get from there to there. And to be blunt with you, I bet that's just as upsetting to the people that live here as it is to the people that live there. Or at least, the people that want to get back and forth. But that's how that is, huh? Okay, so maybe some other day I'll, take the risk. Go out and flounder around and maybe try to hitchhike over the distance. It is only 5 miles. It's a short ride. Or maybe I'll even have a bicycle that I can take at some point. That is one way around it. If I had a bicycle, I could take the bike, put it on the bus till I got off here, get off, and then ride from there, or even just ride the whole way. But at this point, it does not appear as though there's any way that I can get to see Tortoise tomorrow, unfortunately. The bus system in Detroit is too racist to allow me to get to Ann Arbor to see the show. It's a pity, but this is how it is.